Hello, hello. We have got two special guests here with us today. We've got Eddie and Amber. Eddie comes with us from our JobNimbus marketing team, and so we wanted to do a presentation for just a few minutes on what that entails. So, Eddie, I will leave it over to you.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Kyle. How's everyone doing today? It's a pleasure to be on here. It's my first webinar attending, so I'm excited. Good to get you guys a little overview of what we do here at JobNimbus Marketing, how it helps roofers and other contractors. So I have a little slideshow presentation here, so we'll walk through it together. Awesome. So we're here to talk about lead generation today and what it means for roofers, contractors. And if we go to this business journey slide here, you guys know this better than pretty much anyone. But here's kind of the average cycle. It's a kind of a circular motion of how business works. You have leads that come in, selling, the actual work that you put in, cash, the reviews that come in after a job, and then the cycle restarts with lead generation. Unlike other niches and industries where you have repeat customers, something goes wrong every year, something with their AC unit, their heater, things like that. Roofing is a much more long cycle, and that's why leads are so important for roofers and for other exterior home contractors in order to get and grow their business to the place where they want it to be. So that's where JobNimbus saw an opportunity with JobNimbus Marketing to offer a service that will supplement its CRM. So if you guys are already using JobNimbus, it's a great software. You have leads that come in, you can manage the projects that way, but it doesn't take care of getting those contacts to show up and the leads to show up there. And that's what JobNimbus Marketing does. So what we offer, we create websites, SEO services, and paid ads. So websites kind of like your presence online. I'm sure most of you have websites right now. If you don't, that's something that we can help out with. But just having a website often isn't enough. Just being there doesn't mean people are going to come visit it or going to convert from seeing your website. That's where SEO comes in, where we optimize your website and your Google profile as well in order to gain some traction in your local area. Because also with roofing, it doesn't really matter if someone 200 miles away sees your website or your ads, because they're not going to be a converting customer unless you're willing to do some pretty crazy commuting. So that's where local SEO really comes in, boosting up your website, getting leads that way organically, we call those, because you're not paying for it outside of any agency fees or things that you would pay a company. The actual gaining ranking in Google doesn't cost any money. Kind of on the inverse of that is the paid ad side of things. So here's where you're paying Google to display your ad and your business at the top when someone searches up a keyword. So someone says roofers near me, you can target that keyword in your ads, and it will show up. You can gain paid leads there while having the best possible combination is to have your paid ad, so you're top of the line, and then right below that is your organic site because you're ranked high, and that really just gives your business a lot of credibility and tends to get the most leads that we've seen. So here's kind of a talk track to see if you're a ideal customer for JobNimbus Marketing. First, do you have a domain? So do you have somewhere where you're hosting your website, or do you have a website in general? If you don't have a domain and you need a website, we can help out with that. We develop websites from scratch, set up for SEO and for organic that also will convert on the PPC side. Now, if you already have a website, is that website set up for SEO? Like we were talking about before, is it up to best practice? Are you targeting the right keywords? How competitive is your market? Questions like this will enable you to really target your target audience and get your SEO boosted up. And then lastly, is it set up for PPC? So if you're not running ads right now, we can help out with that. And if it is, and you guys are killing it, we don't want to get in there and mess up any of your flows. But there are things that we can improve across the board here. And we have discovery calls and strategy sessions just to see if you guys would be a good fit. Here are some client reviews that we've gotten recently. We really enjoy working with our contractors, and our mission is the JobNimbus mission, which is to make contractors heroes. So it's from lead all throughout the operational part, and then afterwards with the reviews. So it's really the whole selling cycle, the whole fulfillment cycle, and the whole marketing cycle we want to encapsulate into one platform. So that's what JobNimbus Marketing does, and then JobNimbus takes it from there. And then at the very end, JobNimbus Marketing will come in for the reviews part. Very critical to your business, especially with the local SEO. So we really try to get the whole journey taken care of for you guys. Okay, last slide here. I will be putting a link in the chat below to book a discovery call. It's one of our AEs. His name's Micah, really knowledgeable in marketing overall. But if you guys are interested or have any questions that go beyond this slide deck or want some more information into what we do, who we can help, or if you'd be an ideal customer for us, please reach out, fill out this meeting link below, and we can get you guys set up. But that is pretty much all I had. I appreciate the opportunity to come out here. With that being said, I will pass it off. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, I appreciate you. All right, you guys. So we're going to talk about classic reports today. This is why you are all here. I'm super excited to be here with you guys talking about this topic. It's something I'm really passionate about, just to give you clear data and insight into your business. It's a great tool for that. So we have two teams over here at JobNimbus that I want to introduce you to. We have our account manager team. This group works with some of our largest customers. They provide account reviews to help you see, where can I do better in my account? What am I not utilizing? What do I need help with? They also do one-on-one trainings, and they serve as consultants for your business. They're not just JobNimbus experts, but also industry experts consulting you in best practices. We also have our Genius team. They are the masterminds behind these awesome webinars, right? They're putting on these webinars. They have office hours. They also provide one-on-one training. And their current focus right now is just helping with that new estimating experience, getting that up and running for you and your team. And they also serve as consultants for JobNimbus and other relevant resources. So we've got these two great teams serving you guys, our dedicated team and our Genius team. So who am I? Why am I here? Why am I here talking about classic reports? My name's Amber. I've been in the customer success space for about 3 years. Started with JobNimbus a little over a year ago, just celebrated my year anniversary in January. And I have been working as a dedicated account manager, so on that dedicated account manager team. I recently just transitioned to be the manager of customer success. So this is a new role for me. Excited to be here with you guys in that space. On a personal note, I'm a former educator. I taught school for 10 years. So now, instead of teaching first graders how to read, I get to teach adults about software. And it's so fun for me. I love still being able to teach and be kind of in that education space, but just working with adults instead of kids. I'm also a mom. I have 4 awesome kids. This is my daughter, Claire, 12, and she's an angel. And then her 3 totally insane, crazy brothers that we love. And their ages are 10, 8, and 5. So a lot of fun with my kids there. I'm also a big outdoor enthusiast. Being out here in Utah, we have a lot of opportunity to just enjoy the mountains, hiking, camping, fishing. My husband's a huge hunter, so just love being outside. All right. Classic reports, a little agenda for you today. First, we're going to talk about why classic reports. We have that new insights feature. Why do we still care about classic reports with insights being available? Where and how do we create these reports? Types of classic reports that you can create. And then I'm going to end with just a few tips and tricks for you before some Q&A time. So first, why classic reports? Insights is our newer reporting feature, and we do have a webinar on Insights coming up on Wednesday. So if you want to deep dive into Insights, sign up for that webinar on Wednesday. That's going to be a total deep dive into what Insights has to offer. But just kind of a short snippet here is Insights reporting is based on jobs or contacts, depending on what you're using, moving through the workflow and hitting those stages of your workflow. So it's able to give you really cool information like close ratio, estimating conversion, sales, as those jobs move through the workflow. Classic reports is totally different. It's going to report on something different. It has the ability to pull data regardless of where your job or contact is in the workflow. You can pull in custom fields. You can pull in invoicing. It's really cool and just gives you insight into your business in a little bit different way. So where and how do we create classic reports? If you're kind of following along, you've got that Insights tab there at the top of your homepage. If you click in Insights, you will have this classic report option right here. And then from there, you have the ability to create reports, and it will have all of your saved reports. One of the cool things about classic reports is these are live reports. So if you've created with a specific filter, it will continue to update the report for you. So it's a live report that you can have on that Save Reports dashboard.
lots of different types of classic reports. We're going to go in and create some of my favorites together today, just to show you, what's best practice, what are people doing, what's the most common. But just a quick snapshot here, you can do a task report, job or contact report, activity report, estimate report, material order, work order, invoicing, which we're going to talk about today, credit memo, payment, and document. So let me share a different screen here. I'm going to grab just a test account and we will build out a few together. I feel like it's helpful to walk through it together. So I'm in my classic reports. We're going to go to create report. And one of the most common classic reports that I help some of my largest customers create is an invoice report. And there's kind of two ways you can do this. So we're going to go create invoice report here. One way is, hey, I want to have a typical AR report, right? I want to see who owes me money, and I want it to just be really simple. I want to be able to export it into Excel. This is a great option through classic reports. So if we want to call this just our AR reporting, we're going to give it a name. You can give it a description. You can decide how many records show on that page. And then you can decide, is this going to be available to just me, specific groups within the company, maybe just the admin team, or everyone in the company? And I'm going to say, you know what, this is just for me. I want to see who owes us money. You'll notice here with these columns, we can drag and move these around as needed. So let's say, the most important thing we want to see is the date updated, and we want to drag that all the way to the top. We can go ahead and do that. If we decide, looking at this, we don't really need, let's see, we're going to take out the created by. We're not necessarily worried about that. We can go up here to the top to remove column, and we're going to go ahead and just remove that created by. We can also look at our add column option and see, is there anything else we don't currently have that we want to go ahead and add? Maybe we want to know the sales rep. We can add that onto our report. And again, all of these columns you can drag around. So for this particular report, we're just creating a basic AR report. We want to say, okay, who owes me money? The most important thing we need to do is we're going to filter by status. The two statuses we care about in this type of report. So we're going to go ahead and do add filter, status, are sent and open. And sometimes those get confusing, so I just want to break them down really quick. A sent status means I've emailed this invoice to the customer. It's sitting in a sent status. They haven't paid anything yet, but they've received this invoice. An open status is a little bit different. It means that they've paid something on the invoice. So they've made some sort of payment or deposit on the invoice, but it's not paid in full. So we're going to filter to just those two statuses. Go ahead and apply. You'll notice that the filter pops up right here above the title of the report. And now we've got this filtered to only open and sent reports. If I wanted it to be a specific time frame too, maybe I want to filter that date updated, and I want to look at just everything last month. And again, these reports are live. So if I have this last month filter on there, then every time I log into it, it's going to continually update for the previous month. I don't have to refilter that. It's going to keep it live, keep it updated to last month. So now I can see, okay, last month for January, I have an open invoice right here. And they only paid $350. So this is the remaining balance that they owe me. One other thing that's really fun about the invoice report specifically is you can add calculations. So if you go in here to, let's grab our total. We want the sum calculated for us on the total. We also want the total paid sum just to make it easy for us to see exactly what's been paid. And we want to go ahead and grab the balance sum. So now, in this case, I only have one pulling up, but if I had a whole number of them, we'll remove this one so we can see a whole number of invoices pulling in, then all of a sudden, I don't have to do the math. It's calculated for me. I've got a really easy total sum. What's been paid? Looks like I've received $5,000, but there's still $67,000 out there that I need to collect. So great opportunity to have just a snapshot for your billing staff, for your office staff, to be able to see what money is still out there needing to be collected. Okay, awesome. We're going to go ahead and save this one and jump into the other type of reporting that we see. One other thing to note here, like I mentioned, if you save the report and go to the title of the report and click on the 3 dots next to it, you can easily export these. Oops, there we go. Export these to a CSV or Excel file. So that can come in really handy if you need to export that outside of the software. All right, awesome. So another really common report is still that invoice reporting. But instead of filtering it to say, who owes me money, maybe we want to say, okay, how much money did we collect last year? We want to just get a snapshot of our sales for last year or for this quarter. So we're going to just call this sales. And this will be quarter 4 for our business. We want to say, okay, how many people did we get money from last quarter? And again, remember, you can always select how many are shown on the page and who that report's available to. Looking at this, we can drag those statuses around if we want to move anything around. We have the ability to do that. We can remove any columns that we don't necessarily care about or add any columns that we need. So for this report, we're going to filter that status again, but instead of having it be sent or open like we talked about, this is going to be closed. We only want to see closed invoices. And we're going to add that calculation one more time to the total, sum on the total, sum on the total paid, and the sum on the balance. So then it gives us a really good snapshot of how much we've collected. Now this is just our test account, so this one has a little bit less in there that's actually been paid on because they're just test invoices, so keep that in mind. And then again, if we want to filter and just say, hey, but we really just want to look at the updated date for last quarter, we have that ability to do so. And again, it will be a live report, so every time we log in for the next quarter, it's going to pull the information from last quarter. And then we can easily see how much money we've made. So in this case, we probably need to get out there selling because we've only made $13, which is a little alarming for a full quarter. So, you know, definitely want to get out there and sell. So, okay, those are 2 of the most common ones, both having to do with invoicing. Another really important common report is, depending on what you're using, in this test account, we're on jobs. You may be on contacts. You can do the same thing on a contact account. You're going to go in and create a job report. And the cool part about this report, what I love with this report, is we can add custom fields. So if you have custom job fields that you want to see, we can pull those into this report. Some of the most common ones we see are claim number. Maybe you need a report of all of the claim numbers just in one simple, easy swoop. You have that ability. Maybe you want to kind of zone in on specific types of lead sources. So I have a company I work with, they love to pull this report for referrals. And anyone that has a referral, they have kind of special branding messaging that that client gets. So they have a report that just shows all referral jobs for that month. So again, after we add this filter here for lead source for referral, we can go in and say, okay, we also want to filter it down to a specific status. We only care about the jobs that are referral jobs that are still sitting in lead. So we're going to go and we're going to filter this down to just that lead status. So now this report is filtered to any referral jobs that are currently sitting in a lead status. And then we can reach out to them and say, hey, thanks so much for finding us, whatever we want to do, whether it's a special promotion, so special messaging to kind of help get them across the line. We can zone in on the status that they're in with those custom fields. Claim number, like I mentioned, is another great one. Maybe you have, let's take out lead here. We're going to pull in the claim number. And we want to know all of the jobs that are currently sitting in an estimating status. Actually, let's do waiting on scope. And we want the claim number listed right there so that we can have just an easy snapshot or something that we can export so that we have a reference for the claim number while we're gathering all of that with these jobs. So same thing can happen on the contact level. Just remember that It's really cool when we can pull in those custom fields that we've built on the job and pull that into a report to organize it. You can also use specific tags. So if you have a tag that you're using, maybe you've had a storm hit recently and you have a specific tag that you're using on that job, you can pull that into this report here. Okay, awesome, you guys. We'll go ahead and save this one. We're gonna call this claim number. Now you guys can all see what an amazing typer I am here. Jobs and claim number in waiting on scope. Okay, awesome. We're going to do one more together. Another really common one we see is an activity report. So we've done a job report, contact report, a couple invoice reports. On the activity report, this is another really common one that we see. Go ahead and do add activity report. We're going to call this emails. So one of the things that is used for this a lot of time is maybe you have lots of locations in your JobNimbus and you're having a hard time kind of keeping track of all the different emails coming in. So a lot of people will add a filter for that specific location. And then they want to just have a snapshot of all the emails coming in just to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. So a cool part with this report is we can filter. We've already got the column for it. So we're going to just say add filter for activity type. And we only want to see email. That's what we care about here. So we're going to apply that. That's going to filter it down to show me all the emails coming in. We can also maybe filter by who it's created by. Maybe we want to keep tabs on a certain sales rep and we want to see all the emails coming in, make sure they're answering those. And we can definitely filter to created by as well. And then on this one, on the note side, it'll just show us all the emails coming in. We can add a column for date updated, date created. Let's go ahead and throw our location column in there so we can see that. More of a simple one here, but it works really well if you want to just have even a weekly report. So we've got that date updated. We're going to go in and change that filter that we just added to let's do last month. Then we just have an easy snapshot of all the emails coming in last month, who it was created by, what location it applies to, everything like that. So simple one there, but can be really handy. Kind of a similar situation, but instead of doing an activity report, you could also do a task report. Maybe you want to get eyes on tasks that haven't been completed. You can come in and do a simple task report. We can add a column. Actually, let's just go ahead and filter it for is completed. We're going to say false. So it's not completed. Then we can get eyes on any tasks that are not completed. Again, I've seen this used for kind of who's it assigned to. Maybe we want to get eyes on certain team members to see if we need to help them out with completing those tasks. And then we can see any of the non-completed tasks for a specific team member, what job it's related to, and we can also filter it down to date. Okay, awesome, you guys. We're going to jump back over here. Grab this. And we're going to talk through a couple little tips and tricks. So the first one being bulk editing. A lot of people don't know, but you can bulk edit information in your JobNimbus by creating a classic report. So a really common use case here, and I'll show you how this is done here. Once you create the report, click on the three dots next to the name of the report, and you have this option here that says bulk edit. From there, it's going to give you two options. Do you want to update records or delete records? Maybe you synced with your Gmail and it pulled in a bunch of tasks to your JobNimbus calendar that you don't want on there. It's just flooding up your JobNimbus calendar. You want to get rid of it, but you don't want to spend the time going in and deleting a bunch of tasks. Create a task report. Filter it to be last week or to be created by your Gmail. And then you can come in here and just delete all of those records. So it cleans up all of your tasks in one fell swoop. You don't have to go in and individually delete them. Another great use case is maybe you have a bunch of old leads. You haven't been using the boards. You've got a bunch of jobs sitting in that lead board that need to be updated to either lost or paid and closed. And instead of having to go in and individually edit those, let's say you have 300 jobs you need to move, right? You can come in here and choose the bulk edit. So here on the bottom, instead of delete, go ahead and do update record. And then you can choose what status you want to update those jobs to. So you can pull that job report of everything in lead and then bulk edit it and move everything over to lost or to paid and closed. So really great option for updating your records quickly instead of having to go in and individually update things. So don't forget, with these classic reports, you can bulk delete and you can bulk edit. So huge time saver there. Definitely something that's underutilized. So make sure you keep note of that if you have records that you're trying to clean up in your system. You can also customize your homepage. So just a reminder, I feel like sometimes people forget this. On your homepage, and this is for any user, not just admin users, this is your sales guys, this is your office staff, any user in JobNimbus can go in and click customize in the top right-hand corner of their homepage. And then they can pull in any classic report that they want. So I have a lot of people I work with where the office staff has those AR reports on their homepage because that's what they care about the most. That's what they're using the most. So go ahead and remind your team that they can build a classic report and customize it to their needs so that they're seeing what they want on that homepage. And then one more little trick that sometimes gets forgotten is those access profiles. So like we talked about briefly when we were building out those reports together, you can decide, hey, do I just want to see this report? Are there specific groups that need to see this report? If you're not using our group feature, that's an awesome opportunity to set up sales groups and give just a specific group access to a report. You can also just have your admin team. If it's that AR report, maybe you just want the admin team having access to that. Or maybe it's a report for all team members. Hey, we want the whole team to have access to this cool report we built for our leads. And instead of having to have everyone recreate it, just go ahead and assign it to all team members. So don't forget to utilize those access profiles to save you a little bit of time and effort there. Thanks for joining, you guys. I hope that was insightful and helpful. I'm really passionate about classic reports. They can give you a lot of just clarity of information. Where's your team at? How you doing, right? Like all of those things we can pull into a classic report. It can solve a lot of issues. So if you have specific questions, please reach out to our team. If you have a specific report in mind that we didn't go over, reach out. We'll be happy to help you out. There's a lot of cool implications for those classic reports. Appreciate you guys being here. This has been fun.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amber, for doing this. Take care.
Okay. Thanks, you guys. Bye.